Paige Bueckers really is an example of where the women's game is headed because she's incredibly likable, which is why she's got a Nike deal, why she's getting attention, and she can really ball. Obviously, UConn, one of the national championship favorites. Paige's efficiency is on display, the way she plays, the way she gets to her shots, converts her shots, looks for her teammates, all those things. And when you look forward, I mean, when you forecast to the WNBA draft, is there anybody that's going into the NBA draft that's on the same fame level as Paige? There certainly wasn't in the last NBA draft. Maybe Cooper Flagg now that he's at Duke, but Paige Bueckers is just as big as any of the players playing college basketball on the men's side. And that continues the evolution we've seen from the women's game. And she's clearly a great ambassador for brands and a great ambassador for basketball. Now, she had a nice moment with her team where she got this Nike PLE, first, college women's basketball player with the PLE, and that was much discussed, of course. And you can see the shoe; it's a fly shoe. It looks really good. I like it a lot. You see the color there; it's got a nice scheme, a nice its own sort of identity there, and you see Paige obviously modeling it here, holding it up. She should be proud. And of course, she was able to share all of this with her UConn teammates because they all got gifted some Paige buckets, which was shared by the Huskies' social media account. Here was Paige coming in and presenting them all their own Paige buckets.
Nike and team have a gift. It's for everybody. So, oh my god. Your bucket. Oh my gosh, Paige. Yellow! Oh my god. Purple. Yes. Cute.
And I think her teammates sharing in the joy is a good sign of what Paige is like in the locker room, right? I think that is a good indicator of what Paige is like in the locker room, where they are going to, get that and love that and share in her happiness. Yes, they're getting gifts, but clearly that's about your teammate. And as far as the buckets go, here's what they look like. These were some nice buckets, to be honest with you. I wish I got one. There's the bucket, you got the shoe, the basketball, and then the other gear, which is the shirt, the hoodie, headphones. That hoodie is hot. I like that color scheme for her. I like it a lot. I think it's going to work. I think that is going to really work for Paige going forward. Obviously, even right now, you've seen so much from her already that gives you that star power and everything that comes with that. Paige is on her way. There's no question. There's no question. And people really, really do seem to gravitate toward her. Her teammates really sort of gravitate toward her. And when you free it from any comparisons, then it's easy to see and appreciate, right? I think part of the problem is that people like to make comparisons all the time, and it's natural in sports, but that's what causes any blowback, or to say Paige is not Caitlin or whomever. Obviously, it's Caitlin that she gets compared to, and everybody gets compared to. Speaking of UConn, Paige is back on the floor with AZ Fudd, and Gino Auriemma is a big AZ Fudd fan. You can tell just hearing him speak, and he teased her returning to the starting lineup to join Paige on the floor more often. Here's what the legendary coach had to say.
You talk about Ash moving into that second unit. Do you feel like AZ is at the point where she's ready to step back into a starting role, or is there something you're still waiting to see from her?
Well, I was hoping that what we would see in the Bahamas was someone that kind of acclimated back fairly easily, and I think for the most part that second half, against Ole Miss, pretty much signified that, yeah, I'm, you know, but at the same time, yesterday we went pretty hard in practice, and I made her sit out like the last 20 minutes of it. And she said, "Why'd you do that?" I said, because I'm sure you were pretty worn out coming from that trip. She goes, "Yeah, a little bit, So it still takes time to get into playing shape. But no, I love what I saw. And yeah, it's, I don't think anybody's going to go, "Oh my God, I can't believe Azzy's in the starting lineup. What's wrong with him?" Yeah, I think that's a good assumption.
So, this is a UConn team with a degree of pressure on them once things heat up, because they do have AZ Fudd back from injury. And you can see the joy on Paige and AZ's face. They clearly have a real friendship, and they've clearly been looking forward to playing together for an extended period of time in actual games for a long time. So you have that combination back, both number one recruits. You have Sarah Strong, the freshman, number one recruit. That is 3 number one recruits in the starting 5. Paige is the most discussed college basketball player in the world, maybe next to Juju, who's been discussed quite a bit, but the presumptive number one pick in the WNBA draft. So when you've been in college, as long as Paige has been in college and has the experience, and you come back with the stated goal of winning a national championship, and on top of that, you get your teammate back who can shoot the rock, plays very smooth, and you're on the floor together. And then you bring in a freshman with size who changes the dynamics of the game because she can really do it all despite being, of that big frame that Strong has. She can shoot the rock too. And you got Gino Auriemma as the coach, and UConn hasn't won the national championship in a bit relative for their program. I do think there's some pressure on the team this season, and maybe that's why something like this Buckets presentation can help. I'm not going to overstate it. It's just a little thing. But any little thing like that brings the shoulders down, brings the smiles to the faces, builds that team camaraderie and chemistry and trust, can help going forward, because it's going to be Paige who is driving them, right? I don't think there's any mix up there. She's going to be the one with the rock most often, or making the decisions most often, and being looked to as the leader. And, she has the goal that she stated. So it'll be very interesting to see if she can attain it, given the level of competition that's out there as well. It's not like it's UConn and everybody else.